And now we're going to go from the Philippines. We've been to Maryland and then to the Philippines. Now we're going to Germany. Hello. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your name here. Is it
Matthias?
Matthias.
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 And how may we help you today, Matthias?
Yeah. Well, in short, the situation. I'm married 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have 4 children, 12 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
We are both of Christian faith. And, in about 2016, a woman was sent into our home to help our children with their diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
So she visited us very often. And in the beginning of 2017, my wife started a too deep friendship with this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out to be at least an emotional affair in the beginning. And, in 2018, so about 1 year later, I found out that it was way more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I confronted her about that. And she said she's sorry to have hurt me, but she refused to give up. She called it a friendship. I won't give up this friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, she moved out in June 2018 and left me and 3 of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And first, she didn't take any kids with her, moved out to a flat in the neighborhood and back and forth, then on our property into an empty flat, and then back again in the neighborhood in her father's flat that was empty. And now she has taken a flat about 800 meters away and has one of our daughters there.
Mm.
And, I found out about your site about half a year ago or so, and in the first half, so basically since the mid 2018 till Christmas, I was doing everything wrong. And so when my wife talked with me, I always brought up the subject of the affair and that I didn't like that. And we went to counseling, to Christian counseling, and actually she went there 3 times, and she was told by the counselor that what she's doing is not good, and she didn't want to hear that. And she wanted to focus on me. I wanted her to focus on me, which we did one time, and then that was okay for her. But then when the counselor again said, "But also you have to change something. You have to leave this woman," then she got angry or cried and went out of the room, and then she stopped counseling.
Right, and so when she first became involved, when she became first involved with this woman, has been how long ago? Was it 2017?
Yeah, in the beginning of 2017.
So about about a year and a half so far, something like that.
Yeah, let's say in January 2017 they changed from the German Sie to a you, which is a step when you become friends. And obviously that was very unprofessional of this woman because, she's not supposed to destroy the family, but to help.
Right, I understand.
And
specifically, what's your question for us? How may we help?
Yeah. Well, since it has been going on for such a long time, and I have not yet heard any definite thing from her in all the time. Of course, I'm very much tempted to bring up the subject again.
And what would you expect to accomplish? You brought up the subject before, and when you brought up the subject before, she's always turned again away from you. So what makes you think you would accomplish something if you brought it up again?
Of course, I will not bring it up in a way that that I will grumble about it or anything. But obviously, I would like to know. Well, how long does she want to think about it anymore? So basically, when we had our anniversary in March this year, we talked about everything. So we also talked about what I just asked her, what do you want? What do you want to accomplish in the next year? And then she said, well, if we come together, that will take a long time.
Okay.
And I thought,
so at least she left the possibility open.
I mean,
she left the door ajar that there is a possibility that you can get back together. Is that what I just heard?
Yes.
Okay.
And none of us talked about divorce yet.
Okay, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. In the situation that you're describing, the fact that she's involved with another person, right now we're going to leave gender out of it and just talk about that. The fact that she's involved with another person and has a deep emotional connection with this person, you said it first started as a friendship that went too deeply and then it progressed from there. The same kinds of things that you would do if she were involved with a guy, it's the same kind of things that you would do if she's involved with a woman. And that is, remember that people don't leave what they have unless they believe what they're going to is better. So right now, I'm not saying that her being with the other woman is better, but at least in her mind, she sees it as being better. And what you have said to us is that she sees it as better to the point that if anybody tells her that she is wrong, that she shouldn't be doing that she won't talk to them anymore. Now, that's telling you pretty clearly that logic is not going to be the answer here. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Because what she's involved in is an emotional situation. Now, what we teach is that when you work on things like Kimberly talked about a couple of minutes ago called the pies, where you work on yourself physically, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and that's just stage one or phase one of what we call the love path. Then there's a phase two called acceptance, and there's actually 4 phases to this path. But the reason that you do those things is because when you have an extremely intense emotional relationship with a person outside the marriage, they tend to have a shelf life. What I mean by that is they tend to only last so long. And then when they finally do come to an end, what you want it to be is this. If the principle is that people don't leave what they have unless what they're going to is better, is that you want it to be that when that finally begins to fade, and about a year and a half now, is that what we were hearing roughly? Okay. Then when that finally does begin to fade, which might take a little while, that she sees you as being better with the other person. And that's why you don't try to talk her out of it, because you've already told us that logic's not working with her. And so what you do then is you work on you to become the best you that you can be. And that's the system that we teach, so that hopefully, when that finally does begin to erode, and it will, that she then looks at you and sees you as the best. What am I leaving out of that, Kimberly?
I don't think you're leaving anything out, but some people might be listening to this, especially Matthias. I think that's how it's pronounced. And he might be thinking, but you don't understand. I've been waiting a year and a half, in his shoes and in the person's shoes that's in it. What we're saying is yeah, but here's everything else you need to understand onto why I need to do this differently or quicker or whatever that is. And we are not immune to what you are feeling and thinking in that moment. We understand that it's incredibly difficult to be patient during this process, to keep working on the pies, because some days it may feel like it's just monotonous. You're trudging along, you're trying to do everything, and there might not be any change. But the thing here to keep in mind is that not everything's going to change overnight or even in 6 months, unfortunately, or even maybe in a year or a couple of years. It's different for every single situation. And the fact that each situation is so different is why we teach 80% foundational principles, and then this extra 20% is much more of an art than a science. And that is the value of a great coach. Having someone who is unbiased about the situation, who's able to ask you questions and help you think things through from a different point of view so that you can make the best decisions, because you are having to deal with your emotions and your logic and the 3 kids you have at home in this situation and the one gone. I mean, there's just a lot going through, and we can't give you in 5 minutes what you should do with that. And if we did, you shouldn't listen to it, because we don't understand it in that. So what we try to do in this program is teach those foundations. And of course, we have coaches that are amazing, that walk with you through the whole process for however many weeks or months or whatever it comes. And since they're coaches, they coach you. They ask you questions. They don't tell you what to do, but they ask you things and help you think things through and make the best decisions that you can for your situation and what you're going through and your vision and goal for what you have for your future.